What up? Got another short video for you. Hope you enjoy the view. But this one I want to talk about is kind of first thing on my mind. I might have spoken about this briefly as the crows follow me, as they do. Spoke about this briefly, but how, a lot of what's going on in society is kind of a smokescreen, misdirection, psyop. A lot of what people do for their day job is just a front and a cover for what's truly going on. And I think that needs to be kind of put out in the forefront and exposed for the future, at least, ushering in the new world. We can't really allow people to be like, oh, what do you do for work? And I do this. And then that's kind of the end of it. It's like, what are you out here doing every single day? You know what I'm saying? What do you put on this earth to do outside of this your job? Because I'm noticing, especially with my personal situation going on and this going on in the world, a lot of people, what they do for income, or what they do for their job, and what they do, what they're put on this earth to do, and kind of what they do for fun. Those things, that they may all be connected, but they're not all the same. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing a whole lot of people, a whole lot of jobs just popping up, and people, doing work or whatever. But when you really look at it in the grand scheme of things, kind of take everybody's personal experiences and their conscious out of it. A lot of it's just like money laundering. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it's just, like I said, a front to what's going on all over the place. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they do things just to have the government off their ass, essentially, and be like, hey, this is kind of where I get my income from. But in reality, they're doing other types of shit, which all of it's needed. None of it's wrong. None of these people need to be condemned. But you gotta start calling these things out for what they are, instead of, allowing all this sneaky shit. This is the reason why also I usher in our new surveillance state that we live in. Because seeing is believing, especially for a lot of people. You can tell people what's going on. You can paint this very, very beautiful, poetic picture for them, and they won't get it. They truly have to see it in their own eyes in order to really, really see what's going on out here. You know what I'm saying? I think the Carmelo Anthony situation is a really, really beautiful way of painting that picture too. People wanna, it is a very, people who have their own agendas. I think I shouted out this one dude, I forgot his name. He had this one video talking about basically blaming the Jews for why young black men are killing each other. Essentially, his whole channel is basically blame the Jews, as people like him do, because Jews are the root of all evil. They're the worst people on this planet, according to them at least. But once again, this is more and more psyops. You just see what this is. You will know like what that was with Carmelo, especially when you take in all the different evidence of who all the people involved are, or what they are. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for someone like Carmelo to just crash out and just kill somebody for no reason. You know what I'm saying? They keep, hammering on that he got him in the heart. Like this dude's some marksman going around that's taking people out left and right. Keep hammering on about him having a knife on the school grounds, when that is something that has been normalized for decades. I heard my dad telling me about him having knives. Everyone has knives. It's nothing new, especially in Texas. Like, come on now. I mean, what reality are we living in? To all of a sudden, all these things that have been normalized, not even in society, but in nature, that these things I need to be, in order to keep the peace, in order to keep things going, to keep these progressing, all of a sudden are an issue. I think it's Carmelo did it. But once again, it's all for the best. I said another video. They're gonna take care of him. I know he's in jail now. He got convicted, but obviously he's gonna get out of there and he's gonna get his blessings and continue doing the good work as he probably has been doing his whole entire life. But unfortunately, than a black pill. Or fortunately, always comes to collect. And he isn't as, I guess, as valued in nature as Austin Metcalf. That's the reason why he got convicted, you know what I'm saying? As the saying goes, no face, no case. He didn't have the face, so he didn't have the case. But since now he's pretty much going against the people who convicted him or the government or whatever, then he's going to have a better fighting chance, essentially. But he never really stood a chance in this society, in this world, even though he was clearly, and that was like the clearest case of self-defense. But like I said, everything's a psyop. Everyone in the courts knew what was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It was clear as day that he needed to be convicted in order to keep the white people from rioting, right? Because they kept saying that we were going to riot. The non-white people were going to riot, and we didn't. You know what I'm saying? We kind of knew what it was. Rioting was on the wall right from the beginning, even though the evidence was right there. You know what I'm saying? There was so much evidence, it was insane. This dude was extremely innocent in the lens of the law, but everything being a smokescreen, everything being misdirection. Those laws do not protect anyone but the people who founded this country, which is the white men, essentially. They're the only ones who were protected by those laws. Not even the women, not even their own siblings, female siblings, their wives, their mothers. They're not even protected by these laws. It's literally just for them. And that's why I'm saying all good things must come to an end. They had a really good thing going on in this country for 250 years. It's very impressive. Very, very impressive. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's been longer than that, but you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? For hundreds of years, they had a good thing going. And they have done some pretty cool shit with it. Overall, I don't think they've made their lives any better. They haven't really created the country that they've wanted to live in, because they were coping most of the time. But it's just more evidence of how what's going on, and everything that you see with your eyes truly on the surface isn't what it seems. You know what I'm saying? Most people in their jobs, that isn't all they do, you know what I'm saying? Most delivery people aren't really just delivery people. Most government workers aren't really just government workers, you know what I'm saying? Most people who own private property, that's not all of what they do. That might not even be half of what they do. They might be doing way more than what they put on their name tag, you know what I'm saying? It's just, how is that serving all of us? How is this, what was going on, and how is this keeping the world rotating, spinning on its axis, you know what I'm saying? And even though everything happens for a reason, and we are all progressing towards something bigger than us every single day, we are all pushing towards, making humanity where it needs to be, so we can at some point stop evolving and stop, doing all this self-help and constantly, learning from our mistakes or however you want to call it. Eventually we're going to have to get to the point where we're just content with who we are before at some point we're going to have to just really accept what this is and who we are, so we can stop spinning our wheels. And I think a part of that is accepting things for what they are, and accepting that, you go to a store, see all the cashiers and the people stocking the shelves and all that. They got more things going on than just that, and we can't just expect society to put people where they need to be. A lot of times these people are only there to get their needs met. They got other shit going on. And you gotta have to accept that they got other things that they want to prioritize, and other things that they got that are needed on a daily basis. So when you take all that into consideration, it makes a lot more sense of what was going on when you just stop believing the hype of what you're being told and what you're seeing on the surface level, So that's kind of what I'm taking from all this, is that there's a lot more going on than on the surface. You kind of have to sit down and process a lot of this shit because it's a lot to depend on just where you're at, your understanding of how the world truly works. It is a lot to take in and to change your perspective. You know what I'm saying? If you truly put a lot of your eggs in that basket of accepting things for what they are and believing that the people who are in positions of power are there for noble reasons and they're always going to do what's right for the people and their environment, but you kind of like let go of that and just be like, it's a little bit more nuanced than that. You know what I'm saying? A little bit more going on. I mean, all those things are true. They are going to do those things in a sense, but not in the way that they tell you. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more going on, like I said, but it's all for the best. You know, these people aren't bad people. Even if they're doing things, trafficking and smuggling and all that fun stuff, even if they're doing those things, it is all for the best. You know what I'm saying? No one action, no one deed is gonna knock us off of our course. You know what I'm saying? We're still going where we need to go. We're still progressing to where we need to be. So there's no need to hyper focus on one specific thing or allowing one thing to kind of knock you off your block. It's all part of it. Just kind of had to really accept what this can be and not let too much of the present kind of overwhelm you. So at the end of the day, every day is always better than the last day. You know what I'm saying? Things always progress towards something better for everybody, every living thing on here. You know, just because your personal life isn't really manifesting in the way that you would like, or what's going on in your environment isn't exactly up to your liking, everything's still progressing. You know, everything's still moving forward. It's not a whole lot. There isn't anything that isn't, you know, doing as it was always foreseen. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of have to really allow yourself to be just to be present. You know what I'm saying? To be like, hey, and it's another day that ends in a Y. You know what I'm saying? So once you see that and once you kind of accept that truly, then you say, oh, okay, these people aren't really here to help or to do what they claim to do. In that sense, they're going to help, but in a different way. A lot of times people help by showing other people what not to do or how not to carry themselves. Not in a way that is like traditional, you know what I'm saying? In a societal sense. It's traditional in a human, animalistic sense, you know what I'm saying? We're always going to help the people who are upon this earth to keep everything going, to keep everything progressing, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that help shows up in cruelty, shows up in lies and deception, because we need to see these things. We need to accept this part of us, you know what I'm saying? And some of us are better at those things than others. You know, some of us are really, really good at lying and deceiving people. Some of us aren't. How are we supposed to know that we have that capability within us if we don't see it, if we don't experience it? So that's why a lot of these things are happening. What's going on? That's why so much of what's going on is happening, because they need to show the people who are going to make the biggest impact on the planet what things are. You know what I'm saying? That's why I appreciate the bullies, the people who are miserable, because they are showing you, hey, this is part of us. This is kind of what we are. This is at least a version of us that we are trying to evolve and kind of tame, keep to a minimum. You know what I'm saying? We all have misery in us. Some of us are just way more miserable than others. And when you take into account that a lot of that misery comes from, not having a whole lot of self-worth, not really accepting what you are in this world, and you want, everyone has delusions of grandeur, everybody wants to be more than what they truly are, in a sense, kind of makes sense why they act the way that they act. So my whole thing, at least for me personally, is to absorb as much of that as possible, because it is useful information. That's why I keep going back to where I'm going. I can easily put myself with allies and people who are openly kind of supporting me, but I don't really gain a whole lot of that useful information that is like right here, like right here in the present, right in front of me. You know what I'm saying? Seeing all these people crying out for help and looking for that guidance, looking for that inspiration. You know what I'm saying? They chose people like me to do it, so I'm here for it. And I'm always going to be here for it, because that's what I was put on this earth to do, is to do these things. So I'm going to continue down this path and continue seeing things for what they are, not taking things too personal. You know what I'm saying? Even though you have to take it a little bit personal, because it is. At the same time, you know, it's all for the benefit for everybody. And even though people are constantly putting on these performances, it's for the best, to usher in the new world that is being born right in front of us.